Antiques and Collectibles, and today on this episode of Junking with Lou, we are heading down to Tiffin, Ohio. They have a flea market. It's the Tiffin Flea Market. It's at the Fairgrounds, and it is pretty good. So we're heading that way right now and showing you all the good stuff. Come along for the ride. So Tiffin Flea Market is south of Fremont, Ohio. We're coming from southeastern Michigan, so it is southwest for us. It takes us about an hour and a half to get there. So that's where it's located. So it's still a little bit dark because we have to go so early. It starts at 9 o'clock. I like to be there a little early to get the good buys. So we're on our way. So here we are heading to Tiffin. It's about an hour and a half from our house, like we said, and we're heading into Ohio, and it's southeast of Toledo. So that's the direction we're heading. We take 280 over the bridge, and then we get on 20 to get to it, and 53. But anyways, it's definitely worth the drive. You have to leave pretty early because we like to get there before 9 o'clock. But this is what I've always called my secret flea market because I always get good stuff here. It's never a letdown. So it's usually once a month, and they have schedules on their website, and it's at the fairgrounds, and it is probably one of the best flea markets I think I've ever gone to. So definitely worth the trip. So here we are, we're going through the town of Tiffin, and we're heading to the fairgrounds, and here they are. Hooray, we're there, finally. My favorite place. And this was the first show of the season, which is always usually pretty good because people have collected stuff through the whole winter, and especially this year because of COVID, they collected a lot of stuff. A lot of dealers weren't even doing it last year. There's a racetrack that's also on the fairgrounds. It's always kind of fun to watch the horses go by. So we usually take a peek over there. So here's our entrance. There's no pets allowed, unfortunately, in this flea market, but it's still really worth a trip and a lot of fun. And we're heading on in, and there is a huge variety here. There's tractors and cars and wood things, and you have dealers that are antique dealers, and then you have folks that have garage sale items and clothing and jewelry, and there is just a huge variety. So we're going to show you the variety in this first section here so you can see the types of items that you can find. This table was awesome. Everything on this table is $1, which that was so much fun. I spent a lot of time there, and I was looking through the pinback buttons. Those were kind of neat. Lots of good stuff, some paper memorabilia. And a lot of it is outside, and then there's I think there's around 6 or 7 buildings that you also have inside vendors at. So here I go. I am in the back at that dollar jewelry lady, and I'm having myself a little party here because I'm picking out all kinds of items that I'm going to be taking home. And the nice thing about this is her jewelry was vintage. Yeah, there was a few new things mixed in there, but most of it was older pieces, which is getting more and more difficult to find, especially at that price point. So here's one of the buildings we went into, just to show you an example of some of the things they have in the buildings. And there's food there, and knives, and lots of Hot Wheels. My husband loves the Hot Wheels, so he has lots of footage of Hot Wheels. He had to buy a few of those while I was there. He's collected those since my son was young. So, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to keep seeing some of these videos. So here's some more Hot Wheels and some other type of collectible cars. So there's something for everybody. This one was a cool car. It was a Beetle van. That was neat. Trains, lots of trains for those of you who like to collect those types of items. And planes and more collectible cars. Like I said, my husband likes those items, so he's got lots of footage of things of that nature. So there is other items too. These are nice because they were older trucks in there, which I think are pretty cool. Here's an overall view of one of the buildings. there is a little bit of everything. There's bags, there's new things, food, whatever you could possibly imagine, that's what they got. Here's somebody that does some metal work. Those are pretty nice. Some Harley Davidson and flags, crosses, lots of Ohio themed type items because we're in Ohio. And Star Wars figures. Those are always nice. And the Vera Bradley's, my favorite. That's the purses I like to buy. They sell really well in the mall, even though they're newer. And there's some Longaberger baskets. And here's a nice variety on this table of old and new things. There's some more outside vendors. There's somebody that does tin signs. Those are the reproduction tin signs. Still very nice, though, to decorate in your home with. And these are the types of things I tend to focus on. The glassware and ceramics, marbles, those types of things I look for because I usually deal in mostly smalls. Here's some DVDs that a dealer had. So even if you don't find the old objects that you're looking for, usually you'll pick up on a few new objects just because you like them in your house. So here's some more glassware, some pottery, and some kitchen items. Ooh, I see that vanity mirror. I should have bought that. And this dealer deals with all men's workwear. So I know I've brought some friends down to this flea market before, and they're very excited to buy this types of things because their husbands use these things and they're very reasonably priced. Here's some more outside vendors, and that's the outside vendor that we used for the beginning of our show because it was so neat looking. And we have flowers and towels and more old items. There's about 3 dealers there that are kind of like my favorites, and I usually run to them first. Unfortunately, one of them wasn't there. I was really disappointed because I usually buy a ton of stuff from them. So if you go on a regular basis, you'll learn to who your favorites will be and who carries the objects that you typically will buy. And they tend to stay in the same spots. Not always, but most of the time. And we have some kitchen items, craft items, and more glassware. There's some Moon and Stars glassware. And a little bit of Depression glassware mixed in, some Fostoria. And I will be talking more about all the glassware during an upcoming YouTube that we're going to do on Depression glass. It's a nice piece of red Fenton, a basket there, and 2 more pieces of Depression glass. And Depression glass comes in all different colors, so it's good to know what patterns you're looking for. Here's some toys and linens, and some folks collect old Tupperware things, mainly because they like using them. There's some more kitchenware, kitchen canisters. Those were kind of nice. And these were so cute with the chairs with the flowers already in them, ready to go. You don't have to do a thing. And there's the dealers also underneath the bleachers there, so you got to make sure and check that area out. Actually, one of my favorite dealers is in that area. Oh, I always usually run to first. License plates and lots of food here. It's all fair food types of things. So come with your appetite. You know, we only get that about once a year, so it's nice to go to a flea market and have those options. Not that we need it, but we like them, that's for sure. Especially the bloomin' onions. And here's a guy who makes his own ice cream right there at the flea market. There's lots of tools. Old and newer. And here's more tools that we have. And lots of paper memorabilia. More license plates. So this just gives you an overview of what types of things are at this flea market. So you are going to know before you get there what you're getting into. There is some modern stuff. That gentleman had a lot of dollar items. But mostly it's collectibles and old stuff. And it's everything you can imagine. And here's some of the barns that they have dealers in. And here's a craftsman that does homemade toys. There's a few craft booths there that are kind of interesting. Those took a lot of work. A nice milk can and some advertising. Here's some more advertising type items. And they have always a lot of produce there. They didn't have it this time because it was a little too early in the season, so they had more flowers and those types of items. But I usually pick up on that on the way out. I got lots of fresh vegetables and things like that. Here's some very nice wood crates that I believe that he sealed with something. And here I am in a booth and I'm looking at these set of kitties. They're salt and pepper shakers. They were missing the eyes. All they needed was some rhinestones, which I have tons of. $1, had to get that. And then this was kind of in the beginning. This lady also had a Vera Bradley purse, $2. Can't beat that. Got to go with that. Some of the dealers don't have pricing on the objects, which can sometimes make it a little difficult, but you do need to ask because sometimes it's high and sometimes it's really reasonable. And this woman had very, very reasonable prices. Even if there was a tag on it, it was not the price she was charging. So it's always good to ask. So you never quite know. Especially when you see dealer tags on there. That typically is not the price. It probably was in an antique mall. Maybe she has a booth in a mall. Like that little perfume there. It had, the one with the flowers had a antique mall price on it, but it actually was only $2. So I had to get that, of course. That was nice. The other one I would have got, but it was missing the thing that pumps the perfume out, and I passed on that because those bulbs are not easy to find. So I'm back at the dollar jewelry lady, picking up some objects. That was a nice old set from the 50s. Necklace set with one earring. When I picked it up, the whole set was $1. And I pass on the beads. I really don't need a lot of jewelry right now. I got an awful lot of stock, but for that price, you have to look. And I spent quite a lot of time in this booth because she had some really good stuff hidden throughout. Tassel necklaces, love those. They're quite popular. They've come back in style, so I always pick up on those. They're good sellers. And then these beady necklaces from the 50s are always really nice and good sellers. So I usually pick those up when they're in really good shape. And this particular one was in very good shape. So those are 3 things now. And the pile grows. And if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button, subscribe, please, and hit the notification bell. And I was digging through some pins. She had a lot of earrings, and they were reasonably priced. But I tend to look for earrings that have something a little special. That's an eye catcher. Maybe some rhinestones in it or something more unique. Especially if I'm going to pay $1 a piece, I want it to be an item that's going to sell for at least $5 or at least $3. This was a nice bracelet. Green stones on it. Bracelets always are good sellers. Definitely picked up on that. There's some more earrings. And I buy clip and pierce. I buy both. The clip ones are usually older. Oh, a box of rings. Gotta go through those. Now when you're buying rings, it's very important to check on the bottom of the shanks of the rings. If they're discolored, you don't want to buy those because they do not sell well. So that's typically the area that gets the most wear on it for costume rings, so it's always good to check that out. She had a lot of hanging necklaces, but nothing really special. So you can see me doing that with here. I pull the ring out and I'm checking the bottoms. And that's why I'm doing that. Also, I check for marks, obviously, to see if it's sterling or maybe even gold. You never know. I did get quite a nice gold ring a few years back at Tiffin. It was really good. Had opals in it. It was very nice. So that ring looked good on the bottom. But I'm mainly looking for costume. That was just a lucky day. Nice bracelet there. I'm still deciding on that ring. I guess I'm going to take it. More earrings. Now these earrings, they were on the original cards. They were quite nice, but there was nothing really that special about them. they're okay to if you need lots of stock, but I'm not in that position right now. I'm looking for more of the unusual items that'll catch people's eyes. And here's some more on the original cards. That was really nice. And more bracelets. Everything was kind of a mess, but I took a lot of time because there's a lot of times a hidden gem on the bottom of these messes. So you got to go through them. Sometimes you find a nice piece of sterling. Those are nice earrings. And those were nice too, but I believe I passed on all of those because I just didn't feel like it would catch anybody's eye in the booth. They were kind of common. Things with turquoise colors and always sell really well. I did get that bracelet. And now I'm in the salt and pepper area. This is another booth that we went to, and these folks were so nice. They let us film in their booth, and they were also very interested in doing a YouTube channel themselves. So that was, we had a nice talk about that, so that was kind of neat. Chickens, $2 a set. Chickens, animal sets always sell. All owls sell. Cats, dogs always sell. This was nice because it was in the original box for $2. It was a set from Florida, and it had little seashells and sparkles on it. It was really quite cute and brand new old stock. That's always nice to find. And then I passed on these. They were nice, but I was looking for more unusual stuff that I know that would sell. These were kind of cool because they had the grinder on it. I thought those were neat. They were old set, probably from the 60s. There's my little pile of stuff. And there was a little Peanut Man container down there I had to look at too. The apples were very cute. Wooden apples. Those would sell well for me where I'm at. This I would have bought, but it was missing a piece, and there was the match one was not there. Those would have been worth some money, I think. So I was looking around and found this Mickey Mouse for my daughter. Had to get that. It was a nice piece of cobalt blue glass. Always loved that. Picked up on some compacts, and I was going through the pins there because my daughter collects Disney pins, so I usually fish through there. Otherwise, those pins for me, they're not great sellers. I usually put them out for between $0.25 and $1 a piece, so I don't want to pay much for that. That little comb was nice for $1. Here's some pinback buttons. And I'm not a big collector with those, but if it's something really unusual, sometimes I'll pick it up. Depends on the subject matter. Anything with turquoise colors in it seems to go quite well with silver and turquoise, even if it's not a real stone. There was a nice little cameo box, pill box that I picked up on. That was $1 too. That was a good deal. This guy had all smalls. He had all these little box trays all over his table, so they were kind of fun to fish through. When you go here, you gotta take the time to find objects, especially if you're looking for smalls. And I did buy some of these cufflinks. They were $2 a set. They were quite nice. I like the ones with the stones in them that stand out from the rest. You can see I got a little handful of them there that I picked up on. And boy, did I hit on the jewelry this time. I didn't even really need that much jewelry, but now and then you just got to go with it. When you find it, you got to buy it, because when you need it, you're not going to be able to find it. So I didn't buy everything, but I did stock up on some items just because they were so nice and they were nice vintage pieces. And this lady, she does a lot of dollars and a lot of 2 for $5 or $3 a piece. And she actually does the flea markets in Webster, Florida too. I actually seen her down there one year when we were down there for the winter. So, but she's not going to be at Tiffin anymore, unfortunately. She's retiring, so she's only going to do a couple shows, but she will be in Webster, Florida. So that's cool. I'll be able to see her there. She's been collecting for years and years and has done this for a very long time and has lots of good objects and is very reasonable on her prices. She was in one of the buildings at Tiffin. This table was awesome. These were just some folks that were having an estate sale. It was a lady and a couple of her, I think they were her daughters that were helping us. her, and everything was so cheap. It was like $1.50 and whatnot, and boy, I loaded up. Because even if it's new, that's like a nice piece that fish is. Nice paperweight. I pretty much bought everything I thought I could sell on that table. That would go good in the booth. Now, homemade ceramic stuff don't sell very well for me unless they're the Christmas trees. The Christmas trees with the little plastic bulbs, those are really popular. There's a little bell, and I don't always buy bells because they're not great sellers, but for $1, it was an extra cute one, so I had to get that one. And here's some salt and pepper shakers. I believe I spent $1 on them. The little bears were very cute. So I spent a lot of time here. But when you find a dealer like this, you got to really look, because they were just folks that wanted to get rid of stuff. They're not doing it for a living. So those are the people that you usually get the best buys from. They typically only do one show, maybe two. But they're just working on getting rid of their family's estates items. Super nice. They packed everything and wrapped it all real well for me. And they had some Christmas items too, and some other salt and pepper shakers. So I spent quite a bit of time on this table because there was lots to look at, and they had stuff on the floor too. So I had to make sure I looked everywhere. Some of the modern figurines that are made out of plastic, I don't typically buy them unless they're a collectible type thing, like cherish teddies or things of that nature. This little lady bust was really nice. I picked her up. I think she was only 50 cents. They had some owl salt and pepper shakers, but I think they were painted over the original color. And they had some Avon items. The Avon perfumes do not sell for me at all. I know other folks have done better with them, but for me, they haven't done very well. So I typically pass on those things, which is kind of a shame they don't do very well. There's some really cool ones out there. So I was looking at some glassware. And this little heart that was only $0.25. It was new, but it was like $0.25. It was cute. It was a little heart box. I picked up on that. Here's the other table. Oh, shoes, collectible shoes. I usually do well with those. I buy them when they're reasonable. And they're reasonably priced. You have to be careful with the ones with the flowers on them. It's so hard to get one that's in perfect shape. If there's a chip on that flower anywhere, or a crack or anything like that, you definitely want to pass, because they're very difficult to sell. So sometimes I want to go through those. Sometimes with those flower ones, I just stay away from them because it's almost a miracle if there's no chip on them. These are called dragonware. They're souvenir sugar and creamer, but they have a raised white dragon on it, so that's called dragonware. And there are some folks that just collect dragonware and will come and just buy that in the antique mall. So I picked up on those because those were quite nice. And they come in, they have vases, and usually there's some lusterware paint on there, like that one, but not always. But you'll definitely see the dragon. It's usually in white and it's raised. So if you spot that, it's a good thing to get. And they had some nice little figurines. They were $10, so that was too much for me. Probably worth it, but I'm looking for bargains for my antique booth. And a nice little girl, but she had a chip on her flower. A lot of times I'll bring my daughter along because her eyesight is better than mine. That was a nice left-in one. And she can see the little chips much easier because I've made quite a few mistakes on those. So I typically won't spend a lot of money on things like that because at least I know if it's chipped, I can either throw it out or get my money back. She had lots of linens in the bottom here, some scarves that I dug through, 50 cents a piece. That was a pretty good deal. And make sure you stay with us because we're going to be going through all the items that I got. This table was awesome. This was in a dealer that had all tools, and they had this table of jewelry in the back, and everything was $1. So I kind of went wild here. I bought almost everything on that table. It was really good. They had some glass necklaces, really nice old vintage pieces, as you can see there. So I was making a pile. Probably what I should have done is just bought everything on the table. It probably would have been cheaper. There was so much good stuff there. And I've done that before too, where I bought everything on the table and just take my chances, and I usually do quite well with that. That was a nice pin necklace. I think there was a bracelet in that also for $1. Jeez, oh Pete, that's a no-brainer. What a good buy. Those little flag pins always go really well, especially around July 4th. I usually do a display with those. So you can see me loading my pile up. Ooh, nice old Christmas pin. For $1, gotta have that. That's a great seller around Christmas time. And these were like lots. There was a whole bunch of stuff for $1. So I seen one good thing and I'm just grabbing the whole thing. Like I said, they had tools and stuff like that, and this table was kind of in the back. So you gotta make sure to check everything. So stay tuned. We're gonna talk about what we got. We were just leaving Tiffin Flea Market in Tiffin, Ohio, and man, oh man, I did really well, especially with jewelry. So we'll be showing you all the finds real soon here once I get it all unpacked out of this car. So see you then. Bye. So these are just some of the items. It'll probably take a couple different shots to show you all the stuff I got from the Tiffin Flea Market in Tiffin, Ohio at the fairgrounds. It was amazing. I could have bought so much more, but right now I have a lot of stock, so I don't need a ton of stuff, but sometimes you gotta buy it when it's dirt cheap like it was. All the jewelry on this table was $1. There was one dealer, and I'll start to show you some of the stuff I got there. Her entire booth, and it was all jewelry, was $1 a piece. So I got several necklaces there. Oops, that's caught there. And I'll show those to you. And the nice thing about it is most of her stuff was older, all vintage, so it's really hard to find all vintage jewelry for $1 a piece. That was amazing. She said she's going to be there every week, every time they have a sale, so not every week, but it's every month. So there's the necklaces I got from her. And I also got a couple of bracelets from her. Now this bracelet came with one earring, and sometimes you say to yourself, well, why do I need that one earring? Well, if a stone would fall out of here, or I could use it for my extra stone bag, it's always good to take it, especially when it's free. So I got those two bracelets for $1 each. And then I got several pair of earrings there. A lot of these are 40s, 50s, quite old. Oops, I'm missing one. There it is. So here's the earrings I got from her. The blue crystals are really beautiful. Got those all from her. And then another bracelet and a pin. And that was just from that one dealer, not including, oh, and here's a ring too, not including all the other stuff. Okay, so then there was another dealer, and this is something you need to watch out for. They primarily dealt with tools, but there was this little table in the back of their booth that had cellophane bags on it. And I thought, I wonder what that is. It was all full of jewelry. Everything was $1 a piece. So sometimes someone who specializes in one thing will have a little back table where they'll have some jewelry or some other things that you are more interested in. So you always got to keep your eyes out. These are shoe clips. They have the little clips in the back. And those have to hook on the front of your shoe. So I got a set of shoe clips for $1. A lot of people don't know what those are. They make your shoes real fancy. Okay, that's that pile. So let's go on to the next one. Here's the next jewelry load I got at Tiffin. It was definitely a jewelry day for me. These items I got for $2 a piece. Various necklaces. I tend to buy things with tassels on them. I don't know, I'm kind of into that right now. So this is a modern piece. This is a modern piece. This one I'm not sure. Probably a modern piece, but nice, lots of nice natural stones in there. And then this is more of a vintage piece. So I got all of those for $2 a piece. And then there was another $2 jewelry person. Sometimes you have to spend more than $1. These prices are amazing. You don't see anybody get these kind of prices anywhere else. Ohio is a great place to go junking. I go down there a lot. These were all $2. This is a nice little pill holder actually. And a schnauzer pin and a turquoise colored necklace and very nice cufflinks. I got those there. It looks like they have natural stones in them. And the last jewelry I got, and this lady I buy from all the time, and she is retiring, but she's still gonna do a few shows. She does shows in Tiffin, and she also does shows. She goes to Florida for the winter, and I've seen her at the Webster flea market down there. I think she's not going to do Tiffin anymore, but she still will do Webster, so I'll have to find her down there. And these were 3 for $10, so a little over $3 a piece. This is a modern piece, and so is this one. But the rest are all vintage pieces. Very nice. So here's some more items I got from Tiffin. I got all the items from various dealers, but these 3 pieces came from one dealer that was right in the front. Super nice lady letting me film. A Vera Bradley bag for $2. Can't miss that. That looks good with the booth. These kitty salt and pepper shakers were $1. Now they need some rhinestones for the eyes, but I have a big bucket of rhinestones that I could fix these up and make them look super cute. And then this was the last one. This is a perfume. I believe I spent either $1 or $2. But I wanted to show you something on this. This has got a dealer tag on there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the price. So it's always good to ask, because the price at the mall would have been $8.50. But being she had such great bargains, I asked her the price and it was much less. So it's always good to ask. Okay, let's go on to the next ones. So these came from 3 different dealers that I met at Tiffin, Ohio, at the Tiffin Flea Market. This woman here was selling the estate of her in-laws, and I believe she had her daughters helping her. The prices were outrageously wonderful. The gentleman right before me spent $60 on a lot of items. I can't even imagine what walked out of that door. I'm sure it was great, but this was the stuff that I saw, which was still great. So this is for celery. It was used in the Victorian days, and they would put their celery in here. So that's that. This is a compote. This is fairly newer. I say new, 60s, 70s, because I'm old. It's probably old to a lot of other people. So that came with a lid. That was quite nice. This little boot, probably 50s, 60s. I paid $1 for the celery. I think this was $2, and this was, I believe, 50 cents. These little boxes were adorable. They are all hand painted, and they were 50 cents each. That was an amazing price. This is a souvenir one from a state park in Ohio. This is called Dragonware. It's a souvenir set from Florida, and you can tell it's Dragonware because there's a dragon on the motif here, and it's a little bit raised. So we always call that Dragonware, and it's on a lot of souvenir pieces and on a lot of serving pieces. That was $2 for that set. This was 50 cents. More newer, but still very nice. Salt and pepper shakers, $1 for the set. Very nice. This was a modern piece. This was it's a glass paperweight, and it was 50 cents. And same with this little heart. This was a quarter. It's more of a modern piece. This little bell was so cute. I just had to have it. It was only 25 cents. Whoops. So now I don't want to knock it all down. So that was so cute. These little bears were $1. They're old Japan. Very nice. And this little shoe, I think this is a little bit newer also. And this was $1. Well, maybe not. It's got an old sticker on there saying made in Japan. So that's a little bit older. So that all came from that woman that was selling the estate items. So that was a very good find. I wish I'd have been there about a half hour sooner. I probably would have had this whole table full. This came from just one dealer, and it was $1. It was a good buy. Cute little cobalt. I always buy cobalt blue whenever I see it, even if it's new. It sells really well. Now all these little salt and pepper shakers came from a couple that had a booth, and they were very interested in possibly doing a YouTube themselves. So I told them to watch so they could see their salt and pepper shakers. I believe they were all $2 each. They were all vintage, very nice. I got the little wooden owls. Owls and chickens always sell good. Here's some chickens. And this one was interesting because it had the grinder on it, so I got these for $2. And then the little apples. And this is souvenir of Boulder Dam, but those are still pretty cute. And then here's a little Florida set, an old vintage Florida set of salt and pepper shakers. So those are all the smaller items that I got from Tiffin. Like I said, there was so much stuff I could have bought. I could have bought a lot more. You can see I only spent $1 or $2 on every item. I don't need a ton of items right now. I probably kick myself later for not picking up on all those items. But for now, that's what I was willing to pay. So check out Tiffin, Ohio. It's pretty good. Bye.